So on this video, we are going to build a new peacock enclosure. This is the old setup that we had. It worked for the last few years. It's been through a lot. We've patched it, but this netting has seen better days. So we are going to build a new peacock enclosure up here by the excavator. Bingo here. It's mating season and they're going to probably be laying eggs soon. So we're going to try to get this done so that when the new chicks come, they have a safer place to raise their young. But yeah, this run has worked out pretty decently, but it's had it. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of this entire thing and build a fresh new one. So this is some of our building materials. We have 16-foot 4x4s. We're going to use those for our posts. And the dimensions of this new enclosure is 16 foot wide by 24 feet long. We managed to get these trusses over here at the Amish auction. I think we paid $12 each. We got 7 of them. So those are going to be real nice to use rather than us having to build them from scratch up here. So my next thing is actually to get this laid out a little bit better on the orientation of how the building's going to be. Is one of the little temporary pipes that I put in just to get a little bit of the orientation. There. So I'll get this more defined. And I got to change the machine over to a bucket because we were using a rake to rake the garden. So that's my next step. We're gonna check this spot, see how rocky it is. Hopefully we don't have too many obstacles trying to put these posts in. So we'll give it a shot. So I'm just laying out these poles. We're gonna do one pole at the end, another in the middle, another at this end, so there'll be 8 feet spanned. We'll do a few extras for side support. They're not all going to be 8 foot on center, but they'll be pretty close. So that's the plan here. So I'm just going to go ahead and get this first wall set up once I get these footers dug and see how it comes together. So I only dug down about 30 inches for these footers. I normally go down 42 inches for the frost line, but I will be filling around this entire structure another foot. So that should be plenty fine for this whole building. So we got these at the auction. These were, I think, 25 cents a piece. They're used 2x6s. They're pressure treated and they're still in pretty decent shape. And this type of material works great for livestock, structures. It doesn't have to be super pretty. This still has half of its life left in it. They're pretty decent boards. They're all straight. So that's what we're going to use it up on. This is probably like $5, for these 20 footers. So for all of them combined. So you can't beat that. So we're going to use that as the bracing and the purlins. Try to use them all up. Because we use all the good material for, like we're going to be building our sugar shack soon. That's all coming together very shortly. So I'm just trying to get some of these smaller projects done and out of our way so that we can focus on the big build. Somewhat close. So this is the second day working on this project. Yesterday I got these 3 poles in. I also dug a second trench over here. Kind of got some more things figured out for layout for this little thing, this little build. So today what we're going to do is hopefully wrap up installing all the poles, get the digging done, and hopefully have some of the purlins up. So got about 3 hours I can work on this today and see where we get to. I just did a long trench here. That way, if I need to move the poles around this way or this way, or even front to back, I have a 3-foot wide trench I can work with. So we're going to go ahead and start taking some measurements and figuring out where these other poles are going to drop into. So I just got this lower band board situated. It's in the correct spot. Just did my measurement across to make sure that this corner here is square. So we'll go ahead and get this next pole in, screwed on, and then bring that other side across, and we'll start getting this side squared up. So we got the rest of this band board around the base. I'm going to unscrew this side and that side, because behind those trusses over there, there's a really nice boulder, and I want to actually drag that thing into the middle so that the pea chicks and pea hens have the ability to jump on it and run around it, and it'll just be a nice centerpiece inside the structure. But that thing probably weighs 5,000 pounds, and there's no way for me to pick it up. So I'm just going to grab it, drag it here, and then just build the structure around it, and it'll be in there forever. So I got this side fairly close to where I want everything. So I'm going to go ahead and bury these footers. Everything is square. So after I bury them, I'll take these two off, and then these poles should all stay put exactly where they are after they're buried. So that's the next steps on this plan. So we just got this whole side buried over here and over here. We went ahead and took this band board off the base off of it, and then we'll take that side off. These poles are pretty well secured now into the ground, and we'll go ahead and do a couple of passes across here with the excavator, level this out, and bring that boulder over. So we are all ready to go ahead and move this big boulder. We're gonna grab it with the excavator and drag it right into the middle of the aviary, the peacock world. So we just got the boulder slid into place. We just got it right in the middle of the structure. So that'll be a great little spot for them to lay down and hang out and hop on. So a good little centerpiece. It's a pretty rock, definitely a pretty rock. So now we can go ahead and get this band board on over here and that band board on over here and start working on the purlins up the side. So currently I'm getting this first purlin on, which is this guy right here. And I'm getting these poles all plumbed up. They were fairly close before, but this makes sure that they're all perfectly plumb up and down. So I'll go ahead and do the same thing to that side. I made a little board for my spacer for in between these, which helps when you're doing this stuff by yourself. So I'll get that side correct, and then we'll start on these longer sides over here and get these two poles put in. So these beams here I just dug out. They are barn beams. They're similar to railroad ties. They're like creosote smelling. So these things should be fine for the side posts. We'll save the other pressure treated ones for another project, but we'll go ahead and get these buried into the ground. I already dug the holes over there, so I'll just go ahead and start dropping these things in. These things are definitely heavy. They're just like railroad ties. And railroad ties are heavy. I think we bought like 16 of them for like $100. I thought it was a really good deal. They're still in pretty good shape, so they'll be great for side beams on this aviary. So cool. We'll get that fastened in. So we got a mark right over here on our 8-foot on center mark. So we're going to move this beam over, get a level on it, get it plumbed, and get it all fastened in. So now that we got all these posts in, these 4x6s, we're going to go ahead and put in an additional post here because we're going to use a barn door that we got from the auction. It's actually, I think, to a horse stall or a horse barn, and it'll slide this way. So it'll be a nice slider door. So we're going to go ahead and dig another hole right here and then put in one of the other 4x6s. Deep enough. This is just a door support, so it's to hold all these other purlins and keep everything nice and straight around the door frame. So I just went ahead and got these holes filled in. I'll go ahead and get them a little bit more touched up with a shovel. And then we're going to finish up this other band board. This is actually the height of the bottom of the roof. So that's where the trusses will actually be sitting on, is that 2x8 that's up there. So I just need to go ahead and continue that 2x8 over to this side. And then we'll go on the other side of this structure and do the same thing. So I'm getting ready to put up one of the first trusses here. I'm gonna pick it up and try to get up this ladder and get it set into position. I'm gonna do this end and then go around to the other side and attach the other end and then slowly start working towards the middle. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this thing up. So we just got up the other side. I'm gonna go grab another truss and lift it up and see if I can get it up into position, just like the last one. do it. Just went ahead and got everything graded out. It's been a couple of days since I've been back on this project again, but I'm gonna go ahead and get some grass and some oats planted through here and throw down some straw to keep the birds off of it and allow this to grow in while we finish out the rest of the framing up of the roof and getting the wire mesh on the sides. So I just planted this area with some Scott's grass seed, and I'm about to throw a little bit of these rolled oats. These will sprout and give the pea chicks and the peacocks something to munch on while they're in their run here. So you can see I already got some of this down. Once we get this down, we'll throw some straw. So I just got all the straw down. We're supposed to get rain for the next almost week. So this should come in pretty nicely over that period of time. I think I might have a day or so in between. I can do some more framing on this, but this will allow us to move that much quicker when having the pea chicks in here, because we got, I think, 4 or 5 eggs now from one of the hens, one of the pea hens that should be hatching probably in the next 2 weeks. So I'd prefer to have this finished so that they don't, you know, have a space to get out, because that run that's over here, that one has lots of different spots where little baby birds can get out. So this should work out pretty well if we get it done in time. So this barn door is pretty heavy, so I rigged it up to go up on the bucket of the excavator, and then I will try to thread it through this cannonball track. It's probably the easiest way to do this. And then yeah, they'll put some bigger lags up in that track once we have everything situated. Just got the door on the track, so I'm just noticing a couple of things. So I'll have to lower the grade down here, and I probably will have to put some mesh along the top, because a little bit more of a gap with how these things hang than I'd like. So we'll get that part figured out. It's just in the details. But it's a nice door. It was a good find at the auction. I think we paid $40 with the track per door, and we got 2 doors. So $80 for a couple of doors. Pretty cool. Nice little feature. So I have everything set. We're gonna go ahead and put the cross member up. So it's gonna go from this side to this side. I put a little block right here so I can set one of these 2x8s up on it, and then I'll put the ladder on this side and we'll fasten it in. We're going to do that 4 times, so there's going to be 2 on this one and there's going to be 2 on this one. So that's what we got to do next. This will help with stability of the structure from going back and forth while we put our rafters up. So that's the main purpose of having this, so that it keeps the whole structure as one piece. So now we'll move the ladder over and take care of fastening that side. So now I'm going to go ahead and put up this next section right here, 2 boards on either side. that's how you bring up a truss. Finally just got done hanging the last truss. They're right on point, all of them. So the next step would be putting all the purlins on to get all the trusses all fixed in place while they're upright. So this morning, it's a bit of a rainy morning, but we are getting started on getting these blocks in place. So we have these blocks here that we're putting in between each one of these purlins. And that allows us to give a nice clean wrap around this whole base of this structure with our chicken wire and our wire mesh. So we just have to do it all the way up, there, and then on this side over here, we'll be using that shiplap going up the sides all the way up this whole structure here. So that'll be wire mesh, this will be shiplap. This will be 100% dried in. That side over there will be open to the elements, minus the roof. The roof will keep it all nice and dry for the most part. So that's going to be the design of the structure. So I'm just using any of the scraps we got in order to fill in these gaps. Good use of some cutoffs. We're going to go back around. I'm just putting in a few screws in these spots. We'll go around with a framing gun with 3-inch nails, tack everything together at once. That'll really get everything nice and solid. The air compressor is down at the cabin, so I got to go down there and grab it. So this just allows me to keep rolling. So I'll keep on getting these things tacked up. Got my buddy here, Donald. He hangs out while I do some of my building. But we went ahead and got all these blocks in place. We'll start getting some of this wrapped with the chicken wire and mesh. Went ahead and put a 2x10 up top here. This one here. And I'll put my my hangers, my joist hangers, off of this for the roof. Because this area in the future will end up being the sunken-in greenhouse. And we'll do a sand battery inside of there. That'll be hooked up to the big wood boiler. So I'm in the process of getting this chicken wire put up. I'm using these. They're like these nails with washers on them. And we got these at the auction actually a couple of years ago, and they've been sitting on the shelf. And these actually do a really good job of holding this metal in place. And they're a lot easier to use than staples. I'll go back in and I'll fill in all the gaps with these. See, the staples over time, they kind of just like rust out and break, but these I've noticed hold in place a lot longer. So we're gonna go ahead and use this square mesh fencing. This is one of the partial rolls that we got at the auction. I think we paid like $5 for it. So this one we're probably gonna put run it as far as we can up top, and then we have another roll over here that's been sitting for a while. We'll run that one should go in this slot and make it all the way around to the other side. So we're going to use that one up, and then we'll use this one up.
I don't have any nails.
So we just got done getting all of the wire mesh around the entire structure here. I think it came out pretty good. We had just enough out of those partial rolls that we had. Tacked it all in pretty well. So it is the morning time and we are all set up to go ahead and put the purlins on the roof of this peacock enclosure. So I got some of my 2x4s here, made up a couple little jigs over here, just a couple of 22-inch long 2x4s that I can use as my spacers, those two right here. And that'll allow me to keep everything nicely spaced apart. I should have about 3 rows on each side. So I'm going to use any of the 2x4s that are a little weathered because this is a peacock enclosure. It's not a house. So we're just using what we got around the farm here. So I'm going to go ahead and get the air compressor kicked on and climb up there and start getting this stuff tacked in. So far we got the one side purlins on, that side over there, and I'm starting to go through and get this side on as well. I ran through all my 16 footers, so now I'm just down to 8 footers, which makes it a little harder because then you got to scab them together with scraps, but we're making do.
So we are going to tackle side paneling.
Getting there, getting there. Sit on my side. So I'm getting ready to put on these end boards here. They are 2x6s, pressure treated, and I made a little jig for the end so that can help me hold it while I'm up on the ladder, because it's normally like a 2-person thing. So I'm going to go ahead and should be about 2.5 boards to get down to the end here. and the same on the other side. So I'm gonna get set up and start getting these things tacked in place. So most everything is done on the roof, minus the metal roofing and the ridge cap that we got to install. All that stuff is ordered. We went ahead and got our siding put up here, so that's all finished up, and the other side is finished up as well. Our grass is starting to come in pretty nicely inside the structure. It's all small, but it's getting there. We have this side complete all the way up to the top. So on the next video, we are going to be finishing up the roofing up along the top. We're going to be building a platform out here, which will actually be moving their the Peacock house, their 4x8 structure that they have over there. We'll pick it up and we'll set it directly onto a platform that will build off of the side of this here. And then we'll probably get everything tucked in, graded around this entire enclosure, and add a couple of poles inside of the enclosure for them to roost on. So that is the next steps on this build. So there will be a part 2 to this video. So I look forward to getting these birds in their new enclosure. So the next video should come out in about a week or 2. So we should have everything finished up. We're just waiting on the metal roofing so that we can get these birds moved in. But if you like the video, please thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks for watching.